You've been hacked by the Russians.
What was that?
You've been hacked by the Russians for ransom.
Yeah.
Okay, we're on Sukkah Dalid. We said that if the Sukkah is 20, the schach is 20 amas high, if the person laid down pillows on the floor of the Sukkah to reduce the distance between the ground and the schach, we say that it doesn't work. Afagav de bitlu lekulu, even though he was mavatal all the pillows and was going to leave them there. Mishum de badal daita, it's a kolona, but most people will not leave pillows on the floor of a sukkah. And therefore, just because this guy's doing it, since normal people would not, it's not considered a reduction in the size of the sukkah. However, teven ubitlo, if you laid on the floor of the sukkah straw and you were mavatal it, heavy miut, so that would be a good reduction. The kol shekain ofar ubitlo, and certainly dirt, and you were mavatal it. Now, what about teven ve'ein osid lefanoisoi? You didn't mavatal it, but you put straw and you don't have plans to remove it. Or ofar stam, you didn't mavatal it, but you put dirt there. Whether that's a good reduction is machlokas Rabbi Yosef Rabbanan. This is not. Bayishimilu teven utzroros ubitlu. If you fill the house with straw or stones and you mavatal it, mivutal, and it's considered that the bias is completely full. And we medayik bitlo in, but that's only when you mavatal it. Lo bitlo lo, so it doesn't work according to the Tanakama without bit. However, Tani Allah Rabbi Yosi Oimer, teven straw ve'nasid lefanoisa areo kofar stam ubatel, even without a statement. So you see machloikas tanoim between the Tanakama of that Mishnah and Rabbi Yosi regarding whether you have to be mavatal or not. And offer v'asid lefanoisa areo kastam teven, dirt, and you're going to remove it. So that's like regular teven, which is not, because you use that for animal food and it would not be bottle. Hi, Sagva Mesri Mama, Vahut Yordim Besoch Esri Mama. The schach was above 20, but there were parts of it, fronds, that were dripping down within 20. Now, if the part that's dripping down causes that the sukkah would have Tzilsa Meruba Mechamasa, if there's enough hanging down schach to create more shade than sun, ksheira, bimlav psula, because that's the general rule about schach, that you always need more shade than sun. And conversely, you have a sukkah that's mamish 10 tvachim, which is the minimum shear. And now you have some strands of the schach that are within a sar, so that would make it possible. If the part that's hanging in causes more sun than shade, well, that part can be ignored. So, and therefore the sukkah would be ksheira. Armalei Rava, how could you say that such a sukkah would be ksheira? Hadira sruchi. It's a rotten sukkah. It's a 10 tvachim sukkah with half of the schach hanging in. Ain't on dar b'dira srucha. Person's not going to dwell in such a place. It was taller than 20 amas. Let's say the sukkah has 3 walls, and you build a platform against the middle wall, right? You have 2 horizontal walls and then a middle wall, and you have a platform going from one wall to the other, and the platform creates at least zayin by zayin tvachim, which is the minimum shear of a sukkah. V'yesh b'echzer sukkah ksheira. U'minatzad v'yesh misfad itztabel hakois l'arba amois. If the distance if the distance of the platform is more than arba amois, if the space between the platform it's not up against the wall, it's arba amos against it, then the platform only has two walls, the two walls on either side of it, because it's not connected to that middle wall, then psula. But pachos me arba amos ksheira. But if it was, because then the schach that's over nif, even though it's far, it's considered like it's connected. It's like we bend the wall called the doifen akuma to bring it to that platform as long as it's less than arba amos. So my kamashmon, I'm reading doifen akuma. I'm sorry. Let's go again. Uminat sad means it's not on the back wall, it's on the side wall. We have these two walls, and then you have a third wall. The first case is you build the platform against that back wall. That is not a problem. The problem is if the platform is on one of those side walls. So if the distance of that platform is more than arba amos, you can't use doifen akuma. But if it's less, you can. So what's the chiddush? I mean, doifen akuma tanina, bayis shenifchas. You have a part of the roof of a house collapsed. V'sichech al gabov, and you filled it in with schach. If from the wall to the schach is a space of arba amos, it's possible. Hapachos mikan ksheira, because we view the wall as like bending and meeting the schach. So ma'od say mahasum lechazil ledoifen. So there you have a real wall. Aval hachad lechazil ledoifen. But in the case where the istim is on the side, maybe you would say it's not really roy to be a wall, kamash malon, that yes. Now, haisa gvoy mesri mama. Again, the schach was taller than 20 amas. Ubana itztavabem, you built a platform in the middle of the sukkah. Im yesh misvas itztavav ladoifen arba amas chol ruach v'ruach. If you measure from the platform to the walls, it's more than arba amas, it's psula, because you can't use doifen akuma. Pachos arba amas ksheira. So my kamash malan, that mean doifen akuma. We already said the hainu achas, the same shita. Maybe the kula of a bent wall, we only say in one direction. But maybe, because here, your platform is in the middle of the sukkah, you got to use doifen akum on both sides. Maybe low, kamash malon, that you can use doifen akum on both sides. Your sukkah was less than 10 tefachim, it's not kosher. The chakak ba kedei lashlim alasara. In the middle of the sukkah, you dug into the ground so that you could measure from the ground to the schach 10 tefachim. Now, im yesh misvas chakak lakois shlosh tefachim psul. If it's 3 tefachim or greater between the chakak and the wall, then it's not good. But pachos mishlosh tefachim, we say ksher. Now, ma'ishna hasam, how come by those platforms we used all the way to arba amos? Damit pachos arba amos. Ma'ishna hachad damit pachos mishlosh tefachim. So hasam the isila doifen there was a wall. Pachos arba amos sagi. Hach l'shavi l'doifen. Here you got to create a wall. Pachos mishlosh tefachim in ilolo. You have a sukkah that's taller than 20 tvachim, taller than 20 amas. And you built a post in the middle of the sukkah, 10 tvachim high. V'yesh bo hechsher sukkah, and it's 7 by 7 tvachim. Savra by melemem good asik mechitzosa. You draw the imaginary walls of this post up until it reaches the sukkah. You can't use imaginary walls. This is Dr. Agatstein. Can I call you back? Can I call you back? And hey, Amcom is calling me again. It doesn't stop. Literally, it's 6 consults now. I'm getting the 7th. Thank you. I'll call you back. Yes. Torah Rabbanon, Noatz Arba Kundisim, on the top of a roof, you place four posts at the four corners of a roof, no walls. V'sichech al gabov, and you put schach on top of these four posts. Rabbi Yaakov Machshir v'chachamim poisli. Om Ravuna Machloikas al Sfas Agag. The Machloikas is if it's literally at the four corners of the roof. The Rabbi Yaakov Savar Amrin Good Asik Mechitzasa. We draw up the existing walls of the house, and then on the roof, we just imaginarily draw those walls up. But Rabbanon Sarvilo Amrin Good Asik Mechitzasa. Aval be'emtza Hagag. But let's say you put the four posts in the middle of the roof. You didn't put them at the lips of the roof. Divrei kol psula, because there's no good asik. Rav Nachman Amar be'emtza Hagag also machlokes. Rabbi Yaakov will hold that you can draw up imaginary walls even if it's in the middle of the roof. Iboilu be'emtza Hagag machlokes. Aval asfas Hagag divrei kol ksher. Do we say though that the Chachamim agree that if it's on the four corners of the roof itself, that they would agree that it's kosher? Or maybe the Chachamim also argue, and they won't hold of good asik even if the four posts were at the corners of the roof. Teiku. Meisvi. No atzar bar kundisim ba'aretz. You didn't place the four posts on a roof. You placed them on the ground. V'sichech al gabon. And you put schach on top of it. No walls. Rabbi Yaakov Machshir v'chachamim poisli. Now, why v'ha'eretz the ke'emtza gagdami? Eretz is like a middle of a roof. The Machshir Rabbi Yaakov. And Rabbi Yaakov also was Machshir there. So the way Rav Huna explained the machlokes, right? He said, "Be'emtza gag divrei kol psula." So if we can compare the ground to the middle of a roof, it's a kasha Rav Huna, tiyufta Rav Huna, tiyufta. Oh, be'emtza hu depligi. That the machlokes is if they put on top of a roof in the middle of the roof. Aval sfas hagag divrei kol ksheira. So maybe le'me'atev tufta Rav Huna betarti. Maybe it'll be a kasha on both sides of Rav Huna. Or Rav Huna, no. Pligi be'emtza gag. They argue in the middle. But what did asfas hagag? Not like like because we left it like a teku. So why is it pointed out to us the machlokes regarding the middle of the roof? To show you how far Rabbi Yaakov goes with his kula of good asik. The same case, four poles on the ground, and you place schach on top of it. Rabbi Yaakov, if the posts are big enough that you can sort of inscribe in the post tefach on one side and tefach on another side, like two walls of a tefach, nidoinin mishum dumid. It's like a by the pasei biros, by the bore that they made for the Ole Bavel, a heter to put a tefach wall and a tefach wall. I mean, they come in a corner like that, in a corner. So it's considered like two walls. And here you have 8 walls. Now, if there's not enough to say a tefach on one and a tefach on another, ain't nidonim mishum diumin. Sha'ai Rabbi Yaakov Amar dium de sukkah tefach. The Chachamim amar shiyushtayim kil chasen u'shlish lafilu tefach. The Chachamim say no. For the minimum for a kosher sukkah, you need 2 walls and a mashuhu. If you have less than that, it's not a sukkah. Then we said, how do we know that the minimum amount of a sukkah has to be 10 tefachim? We know. Itmarav, Rav Chanin, Rav Yochanan, Rav Chaviva Master. Bakula Seder Moed, Kol Ki Haizuga Chalufi Rav Yochanan, and Ma'il Rav Yonasan. In Masechta Moed, whenever you have this Rav, Rabbi, Rav Chanina, Rav Yochanan, and Chaviva, you should take out your Rav Yochanan and put in Rav Yonasan. And the first case of this is by the Aron Tisha V'Kaporos Tefach. And this we'll learn tomorrow. So Daf Yomi tomorrow, again, is 8:30. We're again, because of Mincha at 8 o'clock, if people want to go to Mincha, we're doing our Daf Yomi now in the summertime at 8:30 to accommodate everybody. Okay?
Thank you.
Okay, Mario, I'll call back in for the Navi Shir in about 5 minutes, in about 2 minutes.
Shkoyach.
All right.